there will be many other nights like this, and I'll be standing here with
Hello everyone,
someone
I'm Kathy
new.
Jones, Public Information Officer for City of DeSoto. Joining me today are a couple of members from the DeSoto Arts Commission. Summer Selby Drew. You may recognize her face. She's a working actress in this area. Yes, she is. And she's also the producer of her own TV show called Grown Folk. Welcome, Summer.
Thank you.
I also have Gregory Isaacs. He's new to our Arts Commission, and he is also a familiar face in the area if you are into classical music. He has a huge background in that area. He's a writer, composer, conductor,
More.
all those things, voice teacher. But his gig right now is he's the classical music critic for Theater Jones.
That's correct.
Welcome, Gregory.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And you have a friend with us.
I do. This is Bill Martin, and he is,
Incognito.
yes. He's still under the witness protection program. He is someone that you see at every single concert. I don't care what it is. It's just quite amazing, all that he goes to. And he writes there's sort of a newsletter, email newsletter about what's going on. And amazingly, there are things I always read there that I didn't really know about. So that's Bill Martin. He came here to help us when we decided this would be alternate classical music and jazz, R&B.
Okay, don't get ahead of me, Gregory. I haven't
Oh.
said why we're here yet. We're here today to talk about something really exciting that the DeSoto Arts Commission is working on.
Yes.
And first, I'm going to let Summer talk about what is Uptown, Downtown DeSoto.
Oh, you want me to jump right in? Well,
Yes.
I was going to give a little background.
Yeah.
Let me give you a little
Please
background.
do that.
Because many people don't know what an arts commission is. And the DeSoto Arts Commission has been in existence for 15 years, right here in DeSoto, doing all kinds of fabulous event programming and, planning for the DeSoto citizens, as well as for people who come and visit DeSoto, tourists who come in town. Bring your friends, everybody. We've been doing this for 15 years. For the last 5 years, we've been focusing on theatrical productions here in our theater. This year, we're going to change things up a little bit, and we're going to create this fantastic music series called Uptown, Downtown, DeSoto. It is going to be 2 parts. You can buy a series ticket in one part or a series ticket in the other part, depending upon your interest. Let me explain the 2 parts. Gregory is going to be sort of our aficionado with regard to classical music. And he is going to share with us information about our series of classical musical events. Bill here is our aficionado regarding jazz, R&B, and we're all kind of throwing in gospel as well. You don't know what we're going to put into this program. Bill here is, goodness, everybody in town that is of any kind of import in jazz, Bill knows. And so what we've done with this series is we've gathered some local artists who have international fame. That means they tour in Europe or South America, as well as in the Metroplex and around the country. We've chosen some of the best to come and perform in this theater. So the series, in conclusion of my summary, is Uptown, which is classical, which is the odd Sundays starting March 16th, Downtown, which is R&B and jazz, which are the even Sundays starting March 16th, 3 o'clock in the afternoon for all of the concerts except for one, from 3 to 5, right here at the Corner Theatre.
Wow, Summer, that sounds really fun.
Thank you.
I
We
can't
think so.
wait. I'm excited. And Gregory, I know you were instrumental because of all your contacts in the classical musical world with getting some really wonderful performers. Tell us what we've got to look forward to.
The most interesting thing about that is that no one said no.
That's awesome.
Some might have had scheduling problems, but no one said no. And they're all doing this to help the city of DeSoto, and many at amazingly reduced fees.
And with not a lot of notice.
And with not a lot of notice. We wanted to start out big, and Bill will tell you about the extravaganza he has planned. But we're starting the classical series with Donnie Ray Albert. Now, that may not be a familiar name to a lot of people that are not in the classical music world, but he is one of the major opera singers today. He sings at the Met. He sings in Europe. He sings everywhere. And he also was one of the Porgies when that was on Broadway. And many people said he was the very best Porgy that ever was. And I would agree with that. And his program for us will be a recital. The first half will be music by African-American composers on poetry by African-American poets such as Langford Hughes. And it's just amazing. I had never heard of any of these composers, and now you will. And they need to be presented. The second half is spirituals, and he just knocks them out of the park. In my review of him, I said that his voice is so resonant that it sounds like he travels with an invisible shower stall. Oh, I love to quote myself. And now I'm going to need my list to make sure I've got these dates correct. Donnie Ray Albert's on March 23. Then on April 13th, we have the Wyeth String Quartet. These are the 4 principal string players in the Fort Worth Symphony, and they are just amazing. They recently formed, maybe like 3 years. And that is going to be one of 2 chances you'll have to actually hear a Stradivarius, because the Fort Worth Symphony has these 2 Stradivarius, and he will bring his.
A Stradivarius violin.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
Yes, and he'll probably make some comments about it if we ask him to, and let people see it. You know, it's from 17, whatever, and the sound on him is
I
just
have to get security for that
just,
one.
just amazing. And the next is the D Drum Percussion Ensemble. These are the percussionists. Oh, April 27. Donnie Ray Albert, March 23. The Wyeth, April 13. D Drum, April 27.
I'm getting tired already.
And they are an amazing group. They do all of these things. It's just percussion, and they play on many native instruments, native Indian, American Indian, a lot of African instruments, and Caribbean. And you won't see much in the way of like a trap set. In fact, I'm sure you won't. But they play all of this really wonderful music written just for percussion instruments. And they tour quite extensively. They're very great. Gary Levinson will be here. He is the Senior Associate Concertmaster of the Dallas Symphony. And that will be our second Stradivarius.
I believe it's one of the May dates.
Yeah, one of the May dates. And that will be the second appearance of a Stradivarius here in the Corner Theatre.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Okay, so if classical doesn't whet your appetite and you're not just amazed at what we've got coming up, now we're going to switch to jazz, the downtown portion of our series.
Wow.
Summer, get us going on jazz.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough act to follow, but we think we've got something going on here as well. We want to make sure that your appetite is whetted. You're going to come out and check this out. We're going to start off big, just like you're going to start off big. We're going to start off big with a big band, correct?
Well, when I was invited to be a part of this, they said, can you start with something really big? We want a big splash. And I said, boy, do we have something, and it's amazing. It's the Bradley Lee and Shelley Carroll Big Band, 16-piece traditional big band, 12 horns in the traditional ranking of trumpets, trombones, and saxophones across the front. Then we have the rhythm section with guitar, piano, drums, and bass. And added on top of that, we have Tatiana Mayfield. Now, Tatiana Mayfield she went through the University of North Texas, and most of the people associated with this band did. They're graduates of that great program up there. Dallas, Fort Worth, Denton, all of North Texas is a major jazz center. We're very lucky to have all that we have here. We need to capitalize on this.
I can't imagine
Southwest people.
16
He lives in
pieces
Plano.
on our little stage
I
here
know.
with a 150-seat
Yes.
theater.
Yes.
You're going to feel like you're part of the band. It's going to be great.
Absolutely.
You will, but this is actually a perfect setting for it. The volume is just right for a big band, and they will play appropriately in this. There won't be any amplification except for the bass and the guitar.
This is amazing to me because I'm not an aficionado. I don't know that much about jazz. I can't rattle off names and history like Bill can, but I know what I like to hear. And when I'm sitting in a venue listening to really good jazz, it makes me move and I enjoy it. And I still don't know who I'm listening to, but I'm enjoying the music. So this series is for those of us like me who can't rattle off names, don't know the history, are not aficionados. We just know what we like to listen to.
Right.
Absolutely.
One of the jazz venues in Dallas that I frequently is San Diego Market Jazz, and Mr. Daryl Thomas, God rest his soul, he is struggling right now health-wise, and we all need to send him some best wishes. But he's sending over a band on 2 of our Sundays, San Diego 813. Tell us
That's what
about
it's called
that.
now. Well, the San Diego House Band is comprised of some really, really great musicians from this area. They don't tour a lot themselves, but they're at this place, and they play such wonderful music. And the great thing about jazz music is that they just fit together. You take one musician and just plug it into a set. They don't need rehearsal.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very different thing because it's the vibe, the interaction between them. They just flow with each other. And what you see on stage is a conversation. They're talking to each other with
Musical
music.
conversation.
Isn't that cool? And it couldn't be more different. Like the Wyatt String Quartet, they're like these dancing couples we see on television now in the Olympics. The starts and everything have to be just precisely together, and that's totally different. You could never stick someone in there.
And that's the great thing about it. We're presenting 2 sides of music, but we're presenting the best of each of these and bringing that to this theater.
That is correct. It
So
can be
exciting.
it can be a process of discovery, and I intend to come to all of them. But it'll just be a process of discovery for people to see how these 2 completely different musical languages really are the same when you get down to it.
Right here in DeSoto, south of downtown, between 35 and 67. Very quick and easy to get to. April 20th. By the way, San Diego 813 will be April 6th. April 20th is Joyce Spencer Quintet. Can you tell us briefly about that quintet?
Joyce Spencer is just a wonderful saxophonist. She plays the whole range from soprano to tenor. You don't see her on baritone very often. But Joyce, she's an African-American, lives in this area, and she has a wonderful band that she interacts with so well. She can play any kind of jazz, straight ahead, bebop, whatever, but for this, she's going to be focusing on smooth jazz and R&B. And she has performed programs with this before and just knocked people out. It will be a very exciting program.
Exciting. May 4th, Joyce Spencer, Quintet will be April 20th. Let me repeat that. And I'm going to skip to the end because we want to let you know we're going to start off with a big bang, both on the classical side and the jazz and R&B side. And we're going to end with a big band with some Brazilian Latin jazz. Tell us about that.
Rosanna Eckert is, I hate to say that I have a favorite, but I will say that she is one of the very best jazz singers in this part of the country. And she's also trained a great many of them because she has her own studio at UNT, and she personally teaches so many. She taught Tatiana Mayfield, among many, many others. Her quality of singing has such a purity to it. So I love her when she's singing quietly, but she's not going to be quiet for this gig because it is a Latin jazz band, but specifically it is a Brazilian Latin jazz band, and it's called Brazuca. Brazuca is a nickname that one Brazilian might say about another. Oh, he's a Brazuca. He's a Brazilian.
Okay.
It will
And
be Latin.
that's going to be on June 8th. I skipped a couple of dates because we don't want to give all of our surprises away.
Yeah.
But we want to tell you, this isn't $50 a ticket. This isn't $40 a ticket. This isn't even $25 a ticket. How much is it, Kathy?
$10.
$10!
Every
Here
Sunday,
in
$10.
DeSoto. Every Sunday.
And that's
$10.
because the Arts Commission is here to serve the community.
Absolutely.
And it's also here to bring people down so that they can see what a wonderful place we have.
I love that it's priced like that so that families can come.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And we haven't talked about the most unique thing that we have coming up. And I'm going to punt it back to Gregory so that he can tell us about his special world premiere that's going to be playing on May 11th. Tell us how that all came about, Gregory.
Well, that's a very long story, which I will try to shorten. The short version is that I wrote a piece called Undelivered for 3 singers and a chamber ensemble made up of a string quartet, a horn, and a bassoon. And it's going to be premiered. It's based on the Kennedy speech that he would have delivered that afternoon in Dallas. But of course he didn't. It's quite an amazing speech. It could be delivered on the floor of the Senate today, and no one would think that it was how old.
Mm-hmm.
So
50
years, yes.
Yeah,
And so Suzanne Calvin, who's the director of public relations and marketing for the Dallas Opera, put the libretto together. Libretto's a fancy name for a script. And she added some other poetry around it so that there's commentary, some news reports, a little editorial, something from Childe Harold, a speech by Daniel Webster, and she wove it all together into not really a sad thing about the assassination, a celebration of what this man stood for and what he had to say. As it happens, it was going to be May 14, 15, I think, it will be May 14, 15 in Fort Worth, which is where the Hall Ensemble performs.
Yeah.
And so I said, you know what, May 11 is very close to that. We'll have it worked up. Why don't we bring it here? And so Karen Hall, who runs the Hall Ensemble, who is another Kathy Jones in my life. She's amazing. And she asked the musicians, who are all members of the Fort Worth Symphony, the Dallas Symphony, all principal players, Gary Levinson again, Mark Houghton, principal horn, Kevin Hall, bassoon. It's just an amazing group of the best people in town. And she said, well, how about if we bring it to DeSoto? And so we're going to do it. And they all said, absolutely. No one has told us no. They all said absolutely, and they're doing it for a greatly reduced fee as well. And so as it turns out, since their performances are May 14, May 11 is the world premiere. And it's right here in DeSoto,
Right here.
in this corner theater.
And you left out one really important detail. Who wrote the score for that?
I did.
Thank you.
It was a commission. Actually, I had been commissioned by the Hall Ensemble to write another piece, which I did. And we were hesitant to start this project because we really didn't get the rights. It wasn't that they said no, it's just that they said nothing. And when the rights finally came through, we thought, well, it's a little late. But I called Karen Hall and I said, how would you like a little bigger piece? And the thing I originally wrote was like 15 minutes. This will clock in at just under an hour. And she said, sure. So that's how it's going to be. And the world premiere actually is going to be right here in DeSoto.
On
That's
May
amazing.
11th.
May 11th.
And this is the only one that's an evening performance. It'll be at 7 o'clock.
Yes.
And there's only 150 tickets, so going to have to get them quickly.
Yeah, that's true. And it had to be at 7 because the players are doing another concert that afternoon. So they will play their concert and they'll all hop in the car and they'll come out here. And it's not just Undelivered. There's the first half of the program. There's some wonderful things, some poetry readings around some music they'll play. And Undelivered is the second half.
If we haven't whetted your appetite for some
I don't know
wonderful
what
music
will.
in DeSoto, I don't know what will. Summer, tell us all the details. How do we find tickets? Those kinds of things.
Of course, you want to know how to buy tickets to this event. These $10 tickets that we have for this 150-seat event each Sunday starting March 16th through the end of June for either classical or jazz and R&B or both. Please go to our website, www.artsdesoto.com. That's ARTSDESOTO.com. If you don't have a computer, you can go to the library and use one, or you can call Kathy and
just
she'll
call me.
sell you tickets over the phone.
972-230-9648.
Absolutely. Watch our website now because we have events going on now. And we have events going on throughout the year. This series will be on our website, but stay tuned in to our website all throughout the year because there's always interesting stuff going on here in DeSoto at artsdesoto.com.
Thanks, Summer. That's great. And I also wanted to add, when you come to the Corner Theatre, hopefully everybody knows where it is if you're living in this area. But if you don't, hopefully you know where DeSoto Town Center is on the northeast corner of Hampton and Pleasant Run Road. That complex of buildings is DeSoto Town Center, and Corner Theatre is located in that complex. There's free parking in the garage that you can enter off of Hampton Road. And when you come out of the parking garage toward the courtyard, look for the fountain and then look up and you'll see the orange awning of the Corner Theatre right there. We'll sell tickets at the door also for every event, and just want everybody to come and join us.
And for those that are coming from Dallas, Denton, Fort Worth, Grapevine, wherever, our address is 211 East Pleasant Run. 211 East Pleasant Run in DeSoto, between 67 and 35.
And I'm a landmark kind of guy. It's across from the Tom Thumb.
Right. Well, I just want to thank everyone for being with us today.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Arts Commission's a hard-working board. It's what I say it's one of the hardest working boards
But
in the
we
city
have
of
fun.
DeSoto.
We do.
But we're the fun board.
Yes.
So come out and join us. Once again, I'd like to thank Gregory, Summer, and Bill. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having us, guys.
Come join us at the theater.